On some new pain medication that puts me to
Ready to
sleep.
go.
So
Ready to go.
Yep, the world knows it now, Joe.
Good evening and welcome to the After Hours show. My name is Joe in Norway. I'll be your cook this evening. I'm joined by Ann Lee, a retired college professor and a community member at the Daily Kos. They're a member of the National Council of Independent Scholars and is a contributor to the book, The Political Economy of Art, Making the Nation of Culture. And we're also joined by Arjun from Deep into History podcast. Good evening, all.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Good to be
If I
here.
fall asleep, you now know why. During a midstream, I might crash out here. Well, another busy week, I assume.
It's
Not
a
at
busy
all.
week.
Well, happy Friday the 13th.
Oh, jeez.
Happy
Yeah.
All Cool Day also.
Mm.
It's where'd it go? Iranians were out celebrating Al-Quds Day, which was formed in 79, shortly after the Iranian Revolution by Khomeini, in solidarity with the Palestinian struggle and as a counter to the Israelis' Jerusalem Day, when they quote unquote liberated Jerusalem in 67, I believe it was.
Mm.
But the great Satan and the Zionist bastards were bombing people out in the middle of the demonstration, the parade. Bastards.
Yeah, they did bomb that. It's just such a shame.
It's just so screwed up, immoral, unethical, whatever.
Well, before I get to the dish this evening, I thought I might read a few things that this just in from the UN. Number one, reiterates its strong support for the territorial integrity, sovereignty, and political independence of Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates and Jordan. Number two, condemns in the strongest terms the egregious acts by the Islamic Republic of Iran against the territories of Bahrain, Kuwait, so on and so forth, and determines that such acts constitute a breach of international law and a serious threat to international peace and security. And it goes on to further condemn attacks on residential business, whatnot. But oddly enough, let me just quote from Craig McIver here. For the second time in 4 months, see Resolution 2803, the UN Security Council has today bowed to the US empire and its vassals and ignored international law on its behalf. And neither Russia nor China have acted to stop it through their veto votes. They abstained. In the middle of the unlawful and bloody U.S.-Israel Axis aggression on Iran, the Council is entirely silent on the aggression and on Iran's charter-based right to defend itself. Instead of condemning the aggressors, it condemns only Iran for attacks on the territory of countries in the region hosting U.S. military bases, some of which have been directly complicit in the aggression, proving once again how oil and money are valued more than sovereignty, human lives, or international law. The resolution gained a record number of state co-sponsors. The council that has allowed genocide and serial aggression to continue for more than 2 years in the region without action has decided that oil prices are a step too far.
Indeed.
#shame.
I think also there's a deeper analysis to be had here, particularly
Mhm.
with the geopolitics being played out in the UN this week.
Mm.
Russia and China are being very, very, very careful.
Yeah.
They are playing this to their advantage, and they want to see, in light of how relatively well, I'll say, the Iranian defense is doing. Not defense of their I should say offense, perhaps.
Mm.
Um, uh, these the relentless drone strikes, with like really pinpoint accuracy, which really displays the discrepancy in targeting between both sides. And they're just hitting like legitimate military targets,
Yeah.
by most metrics. I know some strikes were sort of borderline, but even those attacks on the hotels are attacks on hotels that the American forces and staff were like told to flee to. So, therefore, at the beginning of the war, they were enemy combatants. They still are enemy combatants. And if you contrast that with like the bombing that's going on in Iran, like, um, I recorded an episode on the Iran war this week on Sunday with our friend Brett from Rev Left Radio.
Right.
And that was like literally when, like, while we were recording it, the pictures were coming in and videos were coming in of Tehran being basically, it looked like Mordor, you know?
Mm.
Like literal
Acid
oil
rain,
was
oil.
raining. Like the whole city was black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so brutal and so disgusting. And like, what do you need to win this war? This is pointless war.
Mm.
Let's start with that. There's no point to this.
Nope.
But for any like, sort of like peace-loving person. And on
Well,
top
the
of that,
point
now the
for the
latest report.
Israelis is destruction, complete failed state. That's what I think the Israelis are after.
Oh, you mean, yeah, in Iran?
Mm.
Yeah, the goal, I think,
essentially
essentially is to turn Iran into Libya or Syria.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I heard something saying that somebody in Israel was talking about on the side, on the down low, what they would really like to do and are talking about doing is just leveling the whole goddamn place, including all of Lebanon, Gaza, and anything else they don't like. They just want to pulverize it into ash because they don't think any of those people are people. They could give a fuck.
They've threatened so much regarding Lebanon.
Yeah,
Right.
they appear to like view civilian casualties the way the people in the Epstein files viewed all of us and young
Fuck, are
women
you
in
guys
particular.
still
Like we're
going on
just
about this
animals.
Epstein character?
I will not let it go.
Yeah.
I'm not like Brett and I are like Rev Left and Deep in History went to war for a brief moment because I was like, no, I can't let this go. The people profiting from the war right now are implicated
Oh, yeah.
pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe it's not a distraction for Trump. It is, but maybe it's not. I'll concede that point. It's a distraction for all of them. This was starting to go places.
Yep.
And particularly right before the war, I think it was on correct me if I'm wrong, it's 26th, I think, late on the 26th, the Wednesday before the war, those reports came out about the FBI
Mm.
concealing these like the testimony of a 13-year-old
Right.
who
Mm.
claimed to have been raped by Trump and Epstein. And like that was really, really bad. Now there are I mean, just to be, I hate myself, but just to be fair, there are little qualifiers there that make it a lot less scandalous in the sense that
Let me guess. She wasn't 8, as Megan Kelly would say.
I mean, yeah, but like I'm talking like legally speaking,
Mm.
like apparently at the time the FBI took it very seriously
Yes.
and
Mm.
really investigated it, and the end result of that uh was that like it there was no way they could go forward with it because there were too many like variable details. Like the story didn't line up,
Mm.
but the fact that they covered that up and held that back can
Yes.
only suggest, like what based on what we already know, that what they are actually covering up is horrific.
Yes. There's video. There's ugly crap there, and I think that members of Congress have seen it. So it's pretty, it's baked in now. That's the deal. Is
Oh
Yeah.
Lord! Oh, we got off to a totally wrong start this evening. This Friday the 13th must have thrown me off or something. This is supposed to be completely peaceful Zen Buddhist meal we were preparing here.
Good day to
Om
choose
mani
this
padme
particular
om.
series of side dishes, Joe.
Money,
Well,
padme home,
s-
money, padme home.
since this war started, all I've been having is the Dead Kennedys song "Holiday in Cambodia" on loop in my head with a bowl of rice a day. So I thought I would make. I must have made this before, but I checked my records, and apparently I haven't. Um, Sorry, James. It's white rice. This should be short grain brown rice.
Mm,
We're just going to make a bowl of rice, and then we're going to make gomasio, which is a Japanese condiment of toasted
mm,
sesame and salt, and then gently ground in a suribachi or mortar and pestle.
mm,
But I'll also make furikake, which
mm,
is the fancy pants condiment of toasted sesame, typically katsubushi, which is the smoked bonito fish,
mm,
or dried egg, or
mm,
bits of dried salmon, and slices of nori seaweed.
mm,
Or we can go vegetarian as well. I've got uh, Chinese style pickled, or not pickled, fermented cabbage.
mm,
On the other side, we've got preserved daikon as well.
mm,
And here we've got from the rice we cooked last night. I usually put a piece of kombu
mm,
to give a little bit of extra flavor, and we can use that. We're going to slice that up real fine, slice everything up into little bits and pieces and toast them together so they dried out. And apologies, Anna, but we're going to have to boost it up with a little bit of
ah,
mushroom powder just to kick the umami.
ah,
And you can use this just on a plain bowl of rice. It's just a nice condiment. You can put it on anything, really. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to slowly wash our rice properly. That's been soaking for at least 20 to 30 minutes. And then
mm.
we're going to slowly get these toasting. We don't want to burn them. It takes kind of, we're going to do it slow and gentle. But that's what we got planned here. So, and I'll be rudely interrupting whenever I need to kind of
No, you know what?
explain
Honestly,
things.
you're after you described it, that is totally Zen. I like
Mm,
the
Yes.
idea of you showing us something
mm,
delicious, and with the right preparation, relatively simple
simple.
to make in these times because, like, frankly, like, who wants anything complicated So let's do this.
Mm.
I'm excited to see what you come
We've
up
got
with.
we got a genocide and starvation going on, war all over.
Nah.
Okay, you killed the whole vibe. I just tried to
Sorry,
reestablish.
no, sorry.
Good
Yeah.
job,
I mean,
Joe. Good job.
that's why we're take it away. Let's see. I think we've got our rice here somewhere. It's all yours. Cheer us up.
There's nothing cheery about
Oh no.
sending a Marine expeditionary force to plan to do some sort of special op in Iran. They're going to do
Yep.
something. They haven't quite
Officially announced 45 minutes before our stream started.
Oh,
Yes.
Like
and one of
confirmed.
the nuclear sites, or
Well,
Well,
all we know is that the Marine Expeditionary Force is going to be sailing to the Gulf. Probably, Profan, there's another carrier headed as well. So maybe they'll
yes.
join that.
Yes, on the med side, I guess it's the Bush. Is it the Bush? The Ford is in the Gulf with the Abraham Lincoln, and then the Bush, uh, George H.W. Bush carrier is going to be there. So yeah, there's going to be three carriers. There's going to be an assault carrier for the expeditionary force. It comes with a squadron of F-35s and a bunch of what is it, V-22 Ospreys. It's pretty robust, let's say.
Yeah,
So
and they also
oh,
carry
just let
they
me
also
interrupt for a moment here. Sorry about that. First step when you're washing your rice after it's been soaking is that you agitate it. You're
mm,
you're wanting to. So it's probably like woo-woo bullshit, but you want to kind of stimulate the outsides of the grains so they get a little bit of extra energy there.
it's
But
not woo, Joe. They do it across the world. Every culture in
yes,
the world agitates the rice
uh,
whenever they
but
soak it.
yep,
but it's also to get the starch off. So
indeed.
what
Indeed.
we're looking to do, this is not actually proper sushi rice. This is kind of a mix of somewhere between sushi rice and arborio risotto type rice. So
Mm.
there's lots of starch in this one. So I gotta wash it
So
until
like
it comes
bomba,
clear, basically.
like
Yeah.
Spanish bomba,
Yes,
risotto,
they're similar.
like
More
not risotto.
starchy.
God damn it, why can't I remember what it's called? Spanish risotto. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bamba is
Paella.
really,
God damn it, paella.
Paella, yes, indeed. God,
but bamba is a type
a
of rice, or
boreal, yeah, well,
Spanish
yeah,
risotto holds up. I'll stand by that.
oh yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Now I'm hungry
The
again.
bamba rice is close to Japanese
Mm,
sushi rice. A little bit more starchy. Okay, back to you.
nice.
Sorry for the interruption.
No,
It wasn't an
it's fine.
interruption. Stop
An
apologizing. What's
interruption.
wrong with you?
It's just organic. We'll talk about warfare and horribleness. Um, yes, we're going to have an expeditionary force. They're going to do something. I don't know. They probably already have it planned. So it's either going to be this Karg Island thing, which is stupid, but
Mm.
they're
That is the one thing that could precipitate, and I think that's why these like ultra neocons, the Brett Stevens, like all those losers, like are have been putting out articles in the last couple of days about seizing that island, which
yes,
functions as like Iran's main export hub. Like they fill up
right,
tankers there.
right.
And if they were to do
10 of
that,
which, 10 of those tankers they've been able to get out since the start of the war. So they've actually been shipping more oil since the start of the war. It's
exactly. No,
crazy.
100%. Iran right now is exporting more oil by ship than it ever has before because they have closed the Strait of Hormuz, but unless you ask their permission, and anyone who trades with them, meaning China,
Mhm.
China
India,
and
Pakistan,
Russia.
Qatar.
Indonesia,
Mhm.
are free to sail their tankers in there, get them filled up, and leave unharmed. It's pretty incredible. And if they were to take that island, which is where these tankers are primarily refueling, given the fact that the Iranian ports have been like decimated by these bombings.
Mm.
Um, if the America would hit that, that will send us into like a global depression
Yep.
because the
In,
like the
it,
BRICS countries won't be able to catch up. Everything will just sort
uh,
of like it'll be
yeah.
completely hollow.
Yep.
India and Pakistan are like on 1-2 weeks of natural gas left or something like that. Isn't that the case? The reserves?
Well, that's
Uh,
interesting.
They
I
were very
know
low.
I know
They're
they've already started rationing in South Korea and Japan.
Mm.
In India, I would
and,
not be surprised, but I
and
bet
East
they're going like because India is basically like, 40
mm,
50 something states that are in
Mm.
essence different countries just jammed together,
Mm.
and different
mm,
people. So I bet some places they're you know enforcing restrictions on how much gas you can use, and
mm,
in others they aren't.
mm.
But either way, like the rich people will always have gas.
East
You know what I mean?
East
Like that's how it works there.
East
It's
Asia
always,
East Asia is considering going down to 4-day work week.
yeah.
Oh, while we're here,
Make,
let me interrupt again. So this is just the standard white rice recipe if you're doing a stovetop. I don't mess around with the finger method. I just say however
Wait,
big of
can
a
you show the us how you finger rice, please?
oh, I
one
don't
How
knuckle,
mess
does
with the
one? I'm
finger
one
just
knuckle,
curious.
method.
Asking
one
for a friend.
knuckle.
So whatever measure of rice you're going to prepare, so this is enough for us, a family of 4 that don't eat too much. Um, 1 level cup of white rice, soak that. The same amount after you've drained it, the same equal amount in your pot, back in your pot. You can season or leave it plain or whatever. Bring this up to a boil, slam the lid on, crank it down to the medium low for 15 minutes. Don't touch the lid. It's perfect every time.
Yep.
No, well, don't get hung up about rice being so many different variation. What's right, what's wrong? It's like it's all good. Just 1 to 1, and don't boil the shit out of it before turning it down. Very
Joe,
straightforward.
as a cook myself, I was just
Hmm.
wanted to ask you, what is your water rice depth? Like, when you're going to
That's what I was just
boil
talking
cedar.
about.
No, but
I
like
don't.
what
It's
So
the one.
it's like half. This is half a knuckle,
half
barely.
Okay, yeah, because my grandmother, my very, very Punjabi grandmother, when I was a kid, and I was visiting India, she showed me like Indians measure, or
Mm.
Punjabis at least, they measure it. It's like it's supposed to be the pinky finger till the first crease.
First line.
Yeah,
That's right.
the
Yeah.
first line.
And it also could vary with long grain versus short grain. So
Mm.
for short grain, you might want to add a bit more. But
Yeah, good luck finding anything but basmati in India.
Nah. Oh man. Well, at least there's not a rice shortage.
I like
Um,
even though this might be sacrilege for our East Asians, I think a tiny, barely a pinch of salt just to change the molecular structure slightly for the rice aids
mm,
in digestion.
Okay, so
yeah.
Joe is
And enhances
officially
the flavor.
muted. I'm speaking on half of everyone in South Asia right now. No, no, but seriously, no. That actually, I do that myself. Also, yeah, you can add like, if you want to do saffron, a couple of
Mm.
there are a couple of iterations that you can do there that make it tasty.
Mm. Or like I mentioned earlier, a little bit of seaweed in this case. In the northern, that's a little bit of that. Look, James, nature's umami. A little white there on the kombu. That's glutamate.
It's so weird that you bring up kombu. I watched a documentary about you know, I like to cook, so I watch like the
Mm.
chef related travel shows. And there's this British chef who went with a Japanese fisherman. And because like, fishing stocks are depleting across the planet, this guy has sort of like massively supplemented his income and saved his village by teaching the other fishermen how to basically like dive very shallow and
Mm,
cut the tops off the kombu that grows, like the seaweed that grows off the coast.
Wow.
So yeah, eat kombu. It's supporting actual fishermen.
yeah, cool.
And it's a deflatulator. If you put it in your beans before you cook your beans, it should. Again, this might be all woo as well, but
Wait, what?
could
That's true?
apparently, yeah.
You
Yes.
understand? Okay, stop, be quiet. If we can sell this information, we can
Uh,
finance the leftist revolution.
I believe you can find it in the Black Bible. What was it called? The George Osawa's Black Macrobiotic,
No.
the Macrobiotic Bible, or whatever. Sort of
I
popular in
thought
the
you were going to talk
macrobiotic
about the end
world.
of history. I was like, Fukuyama went there as well?
Oh God.
Oh, he did remind me of well, this UN resolution. I was wondering throughout history, we know how like, these extremely powerful empires operate. Is there anything in the record that we have this blatant, obvious incursion that we're supposed that are breaking agreements previously held, but only one side is able to commit the crimes while others have to suffer what they must?
Well,
Well,
you can stack it up to, US hegemony or whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen that I think 10 years ago would have been, totally verboten, but we're now in this very weird place, where um, Trump can lift the oil sanctions on Russia. They're making out like bandits. They're supposed to get a 17% increase in revenue just from this week in terms of a windfall on, lifting the sanctions to send the oil to India or whatever. There's like stuff going on that is very profitable for a lot of people. And of course, Trump, said the quiet thing out loud. When the price goes up, we make a lot of money, and he led with that. So it's pretty clear that's all he's thinking about is the monetary element of this entire little war. So that's the contrast we have. We have an
yeah, and
expeditionary force, but it's going to take a couple of days or, a week or so to get everything in place to do it. So we're looking at another couple of weeks of this war. And it's a little disturbing, needless to say. I mean, aside from the raining oil on people, just and then all of the disinformation stuff, Trump just saying he doesn't know anything. Well, he doesn't know anything, but trying to dissuade people. I mean, that whole business this past week about disinforming who owns Tomahawk missiles. It's just like it's really weird
you didn't find that
that
compelling?
it was
Because I
just
was just like, yeah, I believe him for sure.
Oh,
oh yeah,
that
they're
that
generic.
tracks.
We sell it to everybody. It's somebody else. It's not us. Whatever.
We sell it to all kinds of people, our allies, and they must have fired it. Well,
Yeah.
then what are you doing? Who are you implicating there?
Is it the Dutch? Is it the Japanese? It's just
And
so weird that people didn't sort of really call him on it,
Prof,
because
can I ask you? Because I've been dying to ask you this all week because I haven't seen this pointed out anywhere on the media. Okay? Aren't you extraordinarily vexed with your multi-trillion-dollar defense budget, which goes into researching all kinds of programs, including like mind controlling sheep and stuff like that? Um, aren't you a little vexed that the American response to the Iranian drone attacks is an army of cloned Shaheed drones that Iran made themselves
Yes, yes.
for next
It
to
is
nothing?
vexing. It is vexing. Absolutely.
It's
They've been
ridiculous,
lowering
right?
the estimates about what the average cost of a Shaheed drone is. I think it's down to $7,000. It is just the difference between the two. And yesterday or today, Trump said, "Oh, I don't care about any. We make the best." He just says stupid stuff. Um, that America makes the best drones, and then somebody on the internet pointed out that there was some sort of military drone competition, and who won the military drone competition? Well, Ukraine did, obviously.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's just um,
And I'd love
it,
to, we should also point out that Trump basically went on his knees, or whoever he sent, went on his knees this week to Zelensky to
oh
teach, to send advisors to teach the Gulf monarchies and the U.S. forces themselves how to handle drones
yeah.
because they don't know how to do it.
No, it's a doctrine, and then also you have this sort of adjacent technology of interceptor drones that's really part of the whole business there. And the interesting thing is that Ukraine cranks them out. I mean it's just a whole profit center actually for Ukraine. So we have a
It's
this whole
huge.
other side thing going on that is about the military, and but it was also incredibly problematic because as you mentioned, the Gulf states, they want to defend themselves against Iran, but they can't in some ways. I mean, there is this kind of complex set of relations that it just seems to me that the U.S. should have thought about that a little more seriously before they started off on this little venture. Uh,
And
on the
Iran has
on the
been quite
other,
clear about that.
Yeah,
That
and
there, it's not about it's about the U.S. being hosted there.
and if there's
yes,
going to be
Mm.
regime change anywhere, as of now at least, it looks like it's going to be in Bahrain
yes, yes.
because Saudi Arabia is moving its army to back up that regime because of the level of protests there.
Mm.
It's a death sentence to post to social media there right now.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
I thought you were going to say Washington D.C. for a second there. I guess we have to be patient.
I don't know. I need more faith in my fellow Americans before I can voluntarily back up
uh,
something that will probably, if it's leftist, look more embarrassing than January 6th.
we're going to have crazy crap coming up. I mean, there is this new flurry of conjecture about that they're looking to create another false flag 9/11 event to sort of ratchet up this whole business. And of course, this past week, the claim that somehow uh, somebody had a ship, the Iranians had a ship with drones on it that was going to attack California.
The
I
drone
mean,
mothership that was over New Jersey last summer or the summer before, I don't even remember now. Remember
well,
that
there
when
are.
they were shooting at airplanes?
Oh, yes, that's right. Absolutely. I remember that now. I mean, it's not that there aren't drone motherships because the Germans or the Russians have been running drones into Germany from a ship. I think they caught one of these ships that had all these drones on it. So um, it's not like it doesn't exist. It just that they're trying to create this whole other thing, and they're threatening California, of course, because it has the largest Iranian population that was there from the Shah. So
But
that it
also, it coincided with that report that four or five of those cloned Shahed drones that the US now is using have been stolen from an armory in Florida.
oh
So
Jesus.
it's like, ugh, I mean, even if they were
Well,
planning it at this point, like it's so obviously a fa false flag.
1,700 sleeper cells. That's what they said today. And I'm going, well, why are we only knowing about this now when you spent, 9 months oppressing, Latinos or Latinx of all sorts? Why haven't you been working? Well, how is it that we only know about these 1,700 sleeper cells now? And needless to say, you have all these sort of rogue, uh, self-identified psychotic folks who have been doing terrible little shootings and stuff. I don't think that's going to stop. There's going to be more of them. We did have them before, and I don't think the volume or is going to change. It's
It's
just that
it
we have all this noise going on, you know, 1,700 sleeper cells. Now, where are all these sleeper cells? Are they all in California? Are they in New Jersey? I don't know. There's this whole thing about it that to try and make us paranoid. That anyway,
if they're Iranians, just go to like Persian nightclubs. You'll nail them all.
that's right.
I can say that my aunt Mershid, married to my mother's brother, my dear aunt, is Persian and had to
Yes.
flee when the revolution happened
Hey.
because they were Zoroastrian and they were
Hey.
very afraid of the sort of hyper Islamic tone at the time. So
Well,
yeah.
hasn't
Uh,
hasn't hasn't really
it
left,
it's
and
nonsense. It's nonsense. But the thing is, like, this is nonsense. It shows like
oh,
I'm sure like, all of us have noticed that there's been like a steady degradation of everything in our society, right? And when you have the quality of rulers that the US has right now, which are just venal, pedophilic, selfish blobs of access,
uh,
the end result of American capitalism, as is manifested after third way politics were implemented,
yep,
um, it's it's like it's only logical that they go this way.
yep,
They are going to um, profit off of everything
yep,
because that's the point. They glory in death and
yep,
suffering
yep.
because, and the thing is, because they've become so like basic, so the Black Panthers called the police pigs because by treating Americans they'd seen all their lives beaten and abused in their neighborhoods, it was the police that had forsaken their humanity.
Yes.
Therefore, they were no longer men, they were
Mm.
pigs. These people are pigs. They have forsaken their humanity. And you can tell that in like the rhetoric. Like this stuff is impossible to defend. Have you kept up with what the right is saying about this?
No, no.
Mhm. It's
I
fascinating. There's like this schism, like a major schism in the right, because I'm brain poisoned. Don't be like me. I consume too much political news
uh,
content. But so but I respect real ones in the sense that I hate watch usually when I'm lifting weights, Tucker Carlson. Um,
oh God.
but because I want to know how they're number one and how and what their number one propagandist is saying. And let's be real, he really is their number one
Yep,
propagandist for this
yep,
entire era we live in.
yep.
He's
Do you do you
obviously
s- do you screech when you put them up? Do you
I
screech like
try not to
Tucker?
because then
Like
yeah, I
Tucker? I
could
mean, do
hurt
you screech
myself.
like Tucker?
No, but lately, okay, yes, he's taking a softer, um, like anti-Semitic stance than like say like Candace Owens, who I think is
Right.
his only like rival, but she's far more It's so weird to say that. She's far
Well,
more
she's
conspiratorial than Tucker Carlson.
more
But what he,
conspiratorial. I mean,
yeah,
anyway.
what he's doing, he's at once more or less like very softly suggesting that Trump was duped by his
Yes.
evil son-in-law,
Yes. This is Kushner.
Netanyahu,
This is
uh,
Kushner and Bibi.
Kushner. Yeah,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
not only that, like Whitco like all the Jewish people in his
Yes, absolutely.
administration, plus
Absolutely.
the country of Israel. And
Yes.
he hangs out like he doesn't really hang out, but he makes people like Mike Huckabee look like fucking like religious freaks and assholes, like brainless assholes. But at the same time, he's doing his critique in this anti-Semitic context
Mm,
while absolutely being more effectively Christian nationalist than
yeah.
Mike Huckabee could ever be.
Ever be. Yes,
Mm.
absolutely.
Yeah, and if you
Absolutely.
listen to what he's saying these days, it's like it's totally it like he's talking about basically like cutting ties completely with Israel because
Mm,
that would be more American. And
it
then in
would be.
fact, we should be,
Oh,
I think Qatar bribed him heavily
Oh,
oh,
um
yeah.
yeah.
because
Mm.
he's been saying Qatar should be
Y-
our new ally in the
He's got
Middle
an
East.
It's
apartment there or something.
it's all
Right.
about the money. It's all about the money. Jesus.
Well, let me cut into the politics for a moment. I've finished the gomasio, which is toasted sesame and salt. It's just the
Mm,
simplest rice condiment you can imagine. And what you want to do, you never save this. You just make a little bit of it for maybe 2, 3 days, a week maximum, because you're toasting your sesame, so the oil's going to go rancid. And we know, we learn from our Californian friends that those seed oils can be dangerous.
oh, indeed.
If you have suribachi, the Japanese style one of these, you can use that to grind it really quickly. That has the etching, the clay in the terracotta clay etching,
Right.
or a mortar and pestle. Or, I mean, you can take the bottom of your pepper mill or your glass, and just grind like that. You don't need to do it too much. Well, you can do it to however much you want, but release some of the seeds, so then you get a lot of the flavor out. And that's our first condiment, gomasio, ancient.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yes.
So am I to understand correctly that Secretary Nome, the dog, goat, horse killer, is going to be leaving, and a
Oh man, I forgot about the goat. Oh my
MMA
God, she's
dude is
such
going to
a
replace him, what, or something? Is
Well,
that correct?
pay respect to Senator Mark Wayne. Okay,
Oh,
Joe?
Mark Wayne Mullen, who likes to pick fights with people. This whole
I
mixed
saw
martial
that.
art thing is
with
just
Bernie.
Yeah,
you
I
see
didn't
that
know that was him. I
Bernie,
forgot that
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 was
was him.
Bernie saying, to sit down.
For God's sakes, for God's sakes, you senators.
You're a senator, for crying out loud. Um, you could see he was ready to do it, right? He was pulling his wedding ring off so he wouldn't get injured when he smashed into whatever. It's just pretty terrible. Um, but he's got his own issues. There's a whole bunch of stories about, how it's very conflicted in terms of stock trading and stuff. There's a whole bunch of
Hmm.
other stuff that's probably going to come out at some moment because he's just a dolt. But
Yeah, that's I think that's you hit the nail on the hammer. I think he's just a useful dolt because he's in
his
a very safe like he could be in the Senate for the next 20 years if he just kept
yep,
running. But
yep,
he decided to take this ridiculously perilous political quest to redeem ICE, like the
yes,
Department of Homeland Security, are like that's insane. And he does not have the brains to do it.
N-
And he does not
nope,
even have the brains to understand that he can't do it.
yep. No,
Oh,
it's a monstrous I mean, it's the fourth largest bureaucracy, I guess, in the U.S. It is, or maybe it's less than that. Anyway. I just don't even understand how they're going this Mark Wayne is even going to do this job. Well, then again, Christy Noam couldn't do the job either. So and she sort of needed Corey to sort of support her. So God knows what Mark Wayne, and Mark Wayne might fall into this whole thing of liking to fly around in fancy jet stuff. So that could get all hairy in itself. I
Shit,
don't know
man,
if
with two bidets in your Learjet? Who wouldn't love that?
queen
a
size
real freak
beds,
would have
two
3
bedrooms,
bidets.
and two bidets.
Oh, got another pro tip for you.
But I
Our beloved,
also,
Anna, close your eyes, close your ears.
Mushrooms.
Anybody who wants a little burst of umami, dried shiitake are very useful. One of these microplane, these fine graters that were originally developed for furniture, are
Yes.
excellent at giving you powder. And you just need about a half of a mushroom or so to add a boost of umami to that.
Yum.
John Hayes, close your ears for you meatheads out there. If you
thanks.
dry your steak off, salt and pepper it, and then grate a shit ton of shiitake over it. Sear it in that. It will be. You'll thank me later. It's a crazy umami bomb.
Yeah, nice.
End of PSA. Oh, we're finished here. There we go. So
Well,
this is
we've
the
moved right
dried
along.
vegetables. But take your time. I'll just start to get everything presented.
Okie
That looks
doke.
great, Joe. I can't wait to see it presented.
Yum, 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 yum.
Oh wait, to expand on your point, I think bringing him in terms, this is an MMA like
Oh yeah,
administration. These people
yeah,
are like they live online. They think like freaking
yeah.
President Camacho.
yeah, exactly. They have that Joe Rogan mindset, that and the Trump mindset. It's all an amalgamation of all this crap. And today it was also, or maybe it was yesterday, it was announced that Kash Patel is instituting MMA training for the
Oh
FBI.
yes.
So I think like because Senator Mark Wayne Mullen is an ex-MMA fighter, they're
Yeah,
trying to
that'll
bring
Uh,
synergy between the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security that had not existed before because Cash and Christie were always needed to fight over whoever's going to use the private jet.
yes. So maybe they'll duke it out. Maybe there'll be an octagon to
I
have all
mean,
these people fight it out.
July
I mean,
4th,
I
live from
mean,
the White House.
God. I mean, Hegseth
ridiculous.
is that kind of guy, right? He's gonna, take off his jacket and fight with people. That's the kind of government we have.
Can
It's
we
just
all
so,
agree to shit on leftists online who say that he's good looking? I'm sorry,
oh,
that dude is not good looking, okay?
no,
He looks
no,
like the
absolutely.
bully of every time I got bullied by a racist white kid when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
uh,
Like that
yeah,
like
yeah,
country club asshole. Like
yep, yep.
no consequences for this guy for anything he's ever done in his entire life. Coddled, spoiled, just like ugh, how could you find that attractive?
Well, I guess the question no one seems to ask him in public is whether he actually has stopped drinking. Because I mean, he promised to stop drinking once he got the job, but that's pretty clear he hasn't.
I think
Um,
everyone who has to deal with him in public has to drink before they go, so they don't want the question thrown back in their face because this
well,
guy's a moron.
this is true. Although I think Hegseth's shoes fit as opposed to all these Florsheim shoes that
Oh
the
my God,
cabinet is wearing.
Shoegate.
It's just
Did
so
you
weird.
see those
And then
pics?
everyone pulled out these pictures of Rubio wearing, size 13 shoes or whatever, the clown shoe stuff. It's
At
very
that
strange.
at that meeting where
Yeah,
Trump disparaged and Vance disparaged Zelensky.
Right.
And
he had growing room.
oh my God, I can't believe like it like basically from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but by the photographic evidence makes it clear they all got the exact same, Trump bought them the
Bruh.
exact same size of shoe. And all
Yeah.
of these like bootlicking sycophants have just worn them ever since.
I guess, or maybe they only wear them for these things that have photo ops in them. But they have to endure the fact that they got sent $145 shoes and the test was whether they were going to wear them for Trump. That they had to be seen wearing them for Trump, which is just and this is sort of like a little game that Trump plays, and it's so well on the one hand petty and uh, pathological, but the fact is the press was on this. The press was looking at people's shoes and looking at how they
Yeah, like
fit.
I'm not defending Trump here. You know me. Never. However, if that was my crew, I'd treat him like that too.
uh, yeah, I guess so. I mean, they're such sycophants that it just amazed me that you could actually have a whole story about this. Anyway, the but the fact is, the White House kind of works like that. They had a whole thing about it's a liberal company, but all the women order from the same. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's like J. Crew, and everybody wears this company's clothing, and so it's like this very strange cult-like thing where there's comfortable dresses and et cetera, et cetera. It is like J. Crew except for fascists. It's
Well,
just
yeah,
so
like just the roots of what you're saying, like in that sort of cultish uniform fashion, if you will. Like you could tell it was a cult right away because as soon as Trump won in 2016, all these assholes were at the time they had the Trump Hotel in Washington, and they were ordering well done steaks and eating it with ketchup. And because that's how Trump gets his steak done. You know what I mean? Like
uh,
these people
Mhm.
are sick. They're perverts.
Sure, that
oh,
wasn't
this
Abercrombie and Finch instead of J. Crew.
well, it isn't J. Crew. I can't remember what the name of the company is. It's but anyway, they market like J. Crew,
Wait,
and I
for the
think they
shoes or
have
the
little store.
shirts?
Oh no, this is for the dresses. All the women wear this one brand of thing.
Oh, I
Um,
know who you're talking about. My friend watched Melania. She kept saying the name. It'll come to me in a minute.
they're pretty pricey stuff, actually. They're pretty expensive stuff. Even their sales stuff um isn't very cheap. But everyone it's conformity. There's this kind of weird conformity thing that goes on. Anyway, that
Well, I mean, even the Proud Boys had that. I
oh
think
yeah,
that was
absolutely.
Abercrombie, wasn't it?
Abs
Like the
Yeah, yeah,
black
yeah.
polo
Yeah,
with like
they're
the short
Abercrombie.
sleeve polo shirt with the like it was black but with like a yellow
Black with gold. Yeah, with gold trim. Absolutely.
taking my colors. Fuck you, losers.
Oh
I wear them
God.
better.
Uh,
Uh yeah, but this has been a like a momentous week, truly. A lot has
it is.
happened and
It is.
I think it's one of these moments where like the world isn't going to be the same after this.
Oh no, no. It something's gonna break open. Either the Trump's gonna have to give up, but the problem is the timing of it. That is, assuming that they really want to do something with the Marines, it's gonna take another week or so. So we're gonna be into week 3 or 4 of the war before anything like that happens. So that's a whole nother side of this thing that hasn't fully been worked out. I mean, we're beginning tonight at 3 a.m. or whatever it is the beginning of week 3 of this terrible thing. And the United States has spent $1 billion a day to get $5 gas, essentially, and I mean, the gas is up, whatever, 50 cents or $1 now, since we've worried about it, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. And then I think everyone has sort of noticed that everything is just more expensive for all the kind of weird reasons. So yes, we're in tough shape. It's going to be a weird couple of weeks. And now that we have warmer weather, we'll probably have more terror. When the weather gets warmer, there'll be more crazy events, as we've seen this past week with the guy driving into the synagogue. I can't believe it amazes me. Why would he attack a reform synagogue as opposed to an I mean, I would think that he would attack an Orthodox synagogue
To me,
rather
it
than
doesn't.
a
Yeah,
reformed.
to me, from what I've heard, is like this guy was in extreme grief. Like he had lost a very, very close family in a
Mhm.
bombing in Lebanon, and to me, it doesn't seem planned. It seems like an act of just like madness.
Yep.
Lost his
Yep.
mind and he just did it.
Well, we've had
Well,
another bombing. So in the just after the invasion, the U.S. embassy in Oslo was bombed by a couple of the Iraqi 20-year-old Norwegian guys. And this evening there was a bombing, or today there's an old synagogue in Trondheim. Was also some kind of attack there.
This is
So it's to be expected.
this is not it's not acceptable. This is stupid.
it
Because
is.
all it does is that it conflates Judaism with Zionism, which
Yeah.
is, AIPAC, Netanyahu's point. Like that's their
Yeah.
lifelong mission to put them so close together that neither one
Mhm.
can be criticized.
Now,
Right.
And
now the
Right.
these kind
one,
of attacks only amplify that, and especially right
mm,
now in our media environment.
Absolutely.
mm.
Absolutely.
But apparently the synagogue had the flag of Israel on it and might be very pro-Zionist. Not sure.
I have never seen a
Mm.
synagogue without the
No?
flag of Israel. And I
No?
live in
Really?
Thornhill. Like there's synagogues everywhere.
Oh, Star of David. You might be confusing the Star of David with the flag of Israel.
Do I sound like I would confuse the flag of David? No, no, no. Like what I'm saying is usually like they
I know what you mean.
most of them have flags, and they'll have the Canadian, the US, and then the Israeli flag, and then usually like
Mm,
whatever I've seen one with like I don't know what it means, but the background is blue and it's a white menorah. I think they're like different kind of
mm,
like,
mm,
sects that are
Yep.
flying their flags. But what I'm trying to say is like there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Like these attacks should not happen.
mm,
And
absolutely.
all they're doing is sort of rhetorically by terrorizing people for no good reason. They're amplifying the cause of who they claim their enemies are.
Yep. It's not a solution, and it's a kind of chaos that on the one hand is predictable, unfortunately, as in these days, but
It's
we're gonna
misguided resistance by people who have
yeah.
been radicalized online or just simply like their minds broke, which I think is
Yeah,
what
yeah, it's like the
explains what
two
happened the
guys who
other day.
drove up from Philadelphia to
Boston.
attack the anti-Zohan. Oh well, no, they were
Oh,
in front of Zohan's the mayor's house, and there was
Gracie
a
Mansion?
protest. Yeah,
huh.
I think it was Gracie Mansion, and
Mm,
there were cops and etc. But these two guys came up from Philadelphia and threw a what is called by the media an improvised explosive device. I think it's just a smoke bomb, but needless to say, they grabbed these guys, and the thing did go off. There is video of it going, kind of not really exploding, but sort of emitting smoke. So, but as I say, the media jumped on it as a IED, and it was a little flaky to try and get that to really be an IED. But anyway, so but it's only the beginning, unfortunately. I think there's just going to
I've been
be.
concerned about his safety like since the second he won the
Oh,
nomination.
absolutely. Absolutely. I was just thinking, they're just this whole bunch of folks who just don't want him there. I mean, it's just, it's all pure Islamophobia at work. Um, and it wasn't surprising to see within the context of the Iran war that there would be people protesting him, but it's a kind of a stretch because it's just I he's not going to be seen as being favorable to Iran, etc. That's just kind of impossible to
Plus, he's the mayor
imagine.
of New York. He has
Yeah,
like it's so stupid. Like the way it's racist the way his entire. He's only
yeah.
been subjected to abject racism like across the media spectrum, especially like particularly in the mainstream. But he's overcome all that,
Oh
and
yeah.
um, I don't know. It seems like, and I'm after I fell in love during Obama's primary campaign in 2008. I never fell in love again because he broke my heart. So I don't trust any politician. But at the
Thanks,
same
Obama.
time, as far as I'm concerned, in things I believe all of us believe in, at least working within the system, he's the best example of a leftist that we have.
Yep, yep, absolutely. I mean, he's
Or
probably the
extreme
leftist with.
centrist.
Well, he's the most
Wait, Kamala was
technically.
extreme centrist.
Well,
Oh,
as mayor of New York, it's like being, president of an entire nation. So it's pretty powerful position,
quite a military
all things
force.
considered. Oh,
Paramilitary force. Sorry.
40,000
And
cops or whatever. Absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah.
I do love
Um,
his moves with Trump though.
oh,
Because like Trump is constantly surrounded by these gremlins, right? Like Miller and everyone like grosser than next, right? And then comes in handsome smiling Zoran. And Trump just like despite him consuming nothing but Fox News constantly, anti-Zoran, he's a communist, he's a spy, he's an Islamic terrorist, all this kind of stuff. Zoran spends 30 minutes with him, and now Trump does whatever he says, just for
Bubble
the
Bros.
pleasure of interacting with a normal human being.
oh God.
It's pretty remarkable if you think about it.
Psycho. Damn psycho. Well, we're at that moment where we have to start talking about the schedule.
Oh, did you cover Ukraine at all, or
Oh, well,
little bit?
no,
Oh,
I could talk about Ukraine. It is what it is. That is, the Russians are. There's a talk of a coup, a military coup in Russia. It's
really?
unclear
Oh,
whether it really did happen or has happened. It's pretty clear that they did arrest someone, and he was a compatriot of the guy who was the defense minister at the beginning of the invasion. So, but he fell out of favor. But this guy they, arrested is part of that. Um, it's not Wagner or anything. It's not a Wagner thing, but but there is talk of this. Unfortunately, there's always talk of it. So I'm not sure that it has much credibility. Um, in other in other Ukrainian news, there's the 500 drones got sent at Ukraine a couple of days ago from the Russian side. There has been only one day of a peace, of a calm, of no drones. It's been one day in of the last 2 years. There have been drones every day. There are drones every, and fortunately, the Ukrainians have been clawing back a little bit more land, so there's that. It
Was that just a happenstance, or it was an agreed ceasefire for a day?
uh no, I don't think it was a ceasefire. It was just they just took a vacation. It was like really weird that there was just one day where there wasn't any, and it's like they took the day off. But every other day they haven't taken off, and so it's just continuous stuff is being thrown. Uh, there's a lot of it's just all the usual craziness. Zelensky goes to Romania to shake hands with the Ukrainian pilots training in F-16s. That may seem trivial, and PR, but it was sort of interesting. It was just interesting that he was there. Um, Needless to say, all of all of the pilots, had a balaclava. You really couldn't see gators. They had gators, so you couldn't identify them. It was pretty interesting to see that. It's just interesting that that kind of element is there. So otherwise, there's all this other side stuff. They're I'm always amazed by the Ukrainian economy being able to make all this stuff. They have such a wide range of interceptor drones, and of course, they're beginning to produce in a pretty real way, pretty serious kinds of drones. And of course, the big cruise missile thing that they Flamingo, uh, it's managed to get out there and do a couple of things, and they hit something 600 kilometers into Russia. So there's that. It went back and forth, and the Russians have decided they would attack rail stations and um, energy infrastructure. But anytime they attack a Ukrainian infrastructure, the Ukrainians come in and they attack a Russian thing. So there's this kind of detente about attacking vital elements. Otherwise, it continues to do what they're just continuing to do the same stuff. Well, and although there is this side technology, and I think it's really important because the Iranians are starting to use it, because I think they used a couple of marine drones on one of those ships that got hit in in the Gulf. So there's kind of a proliferation of kind of military tech that's going on that it's just difficult to figure out kind of where there's a kind of doctrine. And my amusement of the past week has been to try and figure out, are they really mining the Gulf, the Straits of Hormuz, or not? And in fact, from a strategic point of view or tactical point of view, they only have to set off one or two um, mines to get everyone's attention.
Mm.
Everyone will freak out if there's actually an actual mine explosion, and perhaps I mean, you saw that one ship that caught on fire,
Mm.
and that did
Mm.
catch everyone's attention. I mean, that was pretty serious stuff.
One
So,
one analysis that I heard was for them not mining the straits just yet is that they are keeping it open for themselves to ship their
oh yeah,
goods and oil. So
Well,
yeah,
yeah, my father was in the Navy, Indian Navy. He fought in the 71 war, and I have other relatives that are like sort of high up in the like his family's all military. So the so I was speaking with them, and they were saying like the media is sort of getting it wrong. You can
Mm.
just you can chart a minefield, right,
mm,
on a map and leave them there. You know exactly where they are. Therefore,
mm,
you can have channels to go through
uh,
it. And you know you've been hearing on mainstream media that Iran has these they're some sort of semi-mythical Soviet mines that like can be
mm,
moved.
mm,
If that if it's true and they have them, right? because to this day, I believe Russia has denied their existence. Um, specifically for the reason that, like, if the motor breaks, then they just drift off into sea and can blow up a ship anywhere, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but if they do have them, what they would do is establish a corridor with their stationary mines at
Yep,
locations only they know, right? It'd be
right.
charted. And then they would use those movable mines
Mm,
to open or close the you know the
Essentially a
limited part
gate.
of the strait, the transit zone for the tankers that are going to the island to you know fill up on their oil.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
But
I mean, there are a wide range of mine types, ones that are buried, ones that, as you say, there's other mobile mine things that are out there, and they can launch. You can launch mines from submarines, and they still have, at least 10 small submarines, even though the U.S. went in and sunk the only class of this one type of submarine that they had built themselves, as opposed to now they sank one of the Russian Kilo subs, and so I think the Iranians have 2 Kilo subs left, but but they do have a bunch of little subs, sort of, that have not been accounted for. So there's other things, and they can, as I said, they can lay mines with those things, because there's a kind of torpedo mine that is, it comes out of the tube, and it kind of attaches and, does the same thing a mine does. It's just more compact.
I mean,
Um,
not to mention also, like, I think they're going to do it personally. That's like my feeling because they have to. For them, this war is like existential, right? Like it is a
oh
battle
yeah.
for their existence. So I think they're going to do something like that. But also, as you guys noticed with these the few tankers this week, one of them was just like basically what sounds like a grenade that was dropped from like a drone that like my little cousins play with. Like this like little buzzing thing, and it just dropped a bomb because oil tankers are the most flammable thing on the planet, right?
Yeah, yep, yep, yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of sad, but and problematic, and it's not like it hasn't happened before in context. I mean, there have been continuing sets of, whether it's limpet mines or some other kind of thing that has always happened within the context of the straits, the Strait of Hormuz. So anyway, there's
But,
that.
yo, but
Um,
before we go, may I ask
sure.
like follow up sort of to Joe's? There has been a lot of reporting lately, or at least hints that given the coming financial shock due to this oil shock, that to sort of bring the Ukraine war to an end, Putin might simply refuse to sell oil to Europe. Do
That would
you
be
think that
devastating.
That's
is
that's
viable?
always that's
Mhm.
always been part of the problem or advantage
Yep.
or whatever that but I think, and while they've been looking for alternatives, I mean, they've spent the last 4 years, the EU has spent a lot of time not trying to rely on Russian supplies in terms of Europe,
But they just
and
got a
then putting
subsidy today
pressure on
from
Ukraine.
Donald Trump.
And yes, and then there was this subsidy, which, oh, it's just so aggravating. But yeah, it that's one thing that could happen relative to Russian oil. On the other hand, um, they have a lot more flexibility now that they have more cash. I mean, they're just getting, they're making out like bandits, unfortunately, like real bandits. So yeah, we're at this really funny place now at that
And there's also the airways. The airways are going to be closed. if
Oh boy.
Azerbaijani airspace is closed, then there is no east-west route for Europe to get to East Asia.
How dare you overlook Turkmenistan?
It's a hell of a detour, especially
Mhm.
for yeah, East Asian
Mhm.
European flight in terms of
So,
the flight corridor. I
so
mean,
it'll be good for
Iran
East
is a
Asian
big
companies.
piece of the corridor.
Mm.
Is a big piece of the air corridor.
And just yeah, and just apart from Joe's wonderfully peaceful and zen, like honestly, like I'm into it, brother. I wasn't at the beginning, but now I am. Uh uh
Oh, nice.
Also keep in mind that this 5,000 man US Marine Corps expeditionary force is always at sea. There's two of them,
Yes,
usually like Atlantic and Pacific, stationed with the fleet, because that's the point of the Marines. They go from
right,
water to land. They're an
right.
invasion force. Okay, the 5,000 of them, like basically bringing both sides together to head there, is alarming. But at the same time, consider this: they have the U.S. is basically like um, given up on even pretending to protect the Gulf monarchies, right?
That's true.
That
Right.
are extraordinarily vexed at America and Trump right now,
Mm.
given the untold billions they have bribed him with. And at this moment, their populations are appalled that they are supporting Israel and America in basic. They know what's happening
Mm.
and they
Oh
know
yeah.
why they're getting hit and where they're getting
Mm.
hit,
Yep.
right? Um, those troops could be there simply to tell the Gulf monarchies be as oppressive as you need to be, and if need be,
Mm.
they'll come
The
in.
Marines send in the
Mm.
Marines. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
like
that's certainly possible.
yeah, because like a 5,000 man force will not do anything in
Mm.
No,
Iran. Like it won't. It's
no,
not enough.
And
no.
considering in these Gulf states, a majority of the populations are South Asian. They're
Oh,
not going to they're going to run out of remittances to send home, and so knock-on effect. It's going to be pretty bad.
yes. I mean, yeah, we're going to see that in a couple of weeks. I think the real stressors for the Gulf economies.
Mm.
It's going to be really complicated. But as we started, the issue with the UN, I just am I'm struggling to really want the UN to step in more, but I don't think that's going to happen. And considering the way the US and Russia are kind of colluding in kind of really stupid ways, it's going to be really problematic to get the UN sort of on board to do proper kind of monitoring of all this stuff. Because
Mm.
yes, there are UN peacekeepers, but they never seem to be where peace needs to really be kept. But anyway, that's just my story.
Mm.
All right, the schedule.
So look,
It's
I don't
schedule
know if you
time.
I don't
Cold,
know if it's
cold
legible.
check.
It's almost the legibility font size of Prof. John's. Hope you can read it.
Well, I know I already looked at it. I know there's a
Uh,
Kolchak coming up. The Night Stalker is coming up at 8:30, which in whatever it is, 13 minutes. Um, John, do you want to talk about this?
and Crothers.
Yes. So, tonight's episode
Mm.
is co-written by David Chase. You might know him for creating The Sopranos. Um, and it's about um a woman who is very displeased that her grandson was killed uh, violently, and she happens to be Haitian, so she resurrects him to
There we
seek
go.
vengeance.
Voodoo.
Uh, yes. Uh,
I was going to
it's
say he wasn't killed by a supernatural creature by any chance.
No, he
Oh.
And I'm
became
assuming
one.
the resurrection worked.
It did work.
Otherwise,
Yes.
Does El Cupacabra show up in any of these?
No, surprisingly not.
That is surprising, actually.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't think they had enough
well,
episodes to get to that.
so I assume you have slides for this as well, John.
Oh
Yes?
my God, do I have slides?
Oh, God. Yes.
Scat man,
talk to us
colors.
dirty, John. Talk to us dirty. Slides all day.
Well,
Oh,
there's so
man.
many character actors in this episode. It's pretty
It
impressive.
looks like it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Anyway, Silicon Valley is after that when around 10ish tonight, and Susanna is going to show Tender Mercies on Saturday at 7 o'clock, and there will be the fast show at what, 5 or 6? I can't.
5 p.m.
5 p.m., which has been pretty bizarre. I don't know if Lane is here. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, it's a 1990s TV series which is sort of spread out, still goes on live at least. And it's very fast, rapid, repeat sketches with traits that are repeated ad nauseum, but yeah, the build up a relationship in your head with the characters, and then they play with that as the series goes on. So there's some interesting bits and there's some wacky bits, but it's all
Yes.
very, very good. All very good.
All right. So there's a Columbo thing on Sunday that is what at, see, that's why it's so small. I can't see it. 3
3
o'clock?
p.m.
3
Susanna
p.m.
should be
Eastern
here.
time. Susanna, do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about Tender Mercies?
Oh, is she even here? Maybe she's not
But
here.
she may not be here. All right. Well, anyway, there are those two things. 7 o'clock, Tender Mercy. She says she has a great print of it. So Robert Duvall, etc. So that's going to be cool. And then anyway, it's Sunday at 3 p.m. And then at 5 p.m. there is Star Trek: The Next Generation. John.
Yes, another good episode. We have legendary Federation Ambassador Sarek visiting the Enterprise. Now, who knows whose daddy he is? Joe, Joe.
Spock?
Yes, you get a Vulcan
Lord.
cigar, Joe.
You had to guess that? That's so sad.
You absolute apple polisher.
I have to see if they're paying attention, Arjun.
Teacher's pet. SWAT.
Or okay.
So it's a good one.
So
It's a
that
good-
should be a good episode. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. As I recall, yes, absolutely a good episode. Lane, do you want to talk about what's coming after that? Are we doing more ladies'
We're doing
night?
something. I haven't a clue what I'm doing this week,
Oh, all right.
to be fair. So I've got lots of little ideas. But I'm still waiting for some handmade films to appear in a free format that I can share. Then I'll get back on that bandwagon of doing soundtracks and that sort of. But as of yet, no, haven't a clue. But it'll be good. It's always good. It's always good.
It's always good. Absolutely. And then Monday, I don't know if Nate wants to talk about it, but we've been reading through the history of the Palo Alto in California. That's it's a really long book, but it's really got good stuff in it. This coming week, we're on the portion in the book where they talk about Paul Moran and the first and last, perhaps, pure Marxist at Stanford University. Although I would guess that Donald Harris actually had the position, the slot that Paul Moran had when they hired him. So technically, Kamala Harris's dad, may have been the replacement for Paul Brand at Stanford. But, anyway, the story is that, he was one of the few people who, he had tenure, but he was being paid like a lower level instructor, not even an assistant professor. But anyway, and because they're being all anti-communist, they didn't, want to, support him. Anyway, that we're at that part of the book in terms of talking about Palo Alto and California and stuff. So it's just anyway, I just thought I'd share that. I don't know if Bruce is here to talk about Red Hour. Perhaps
Yeah, I'm here. Tuesday, we're going to do a couple things by Grace Paley, a very short story. And then the second thing is more of an essay about her writing. And I guess it's going to be also a little memorial to Nancy. So
yes, absolutely.
That'll be on Tuesday.
A good idea. All right. Wednesday is the Wednesday office hours, and we're at a very interesting place, at least in terms of what I've been looking at. We've been looking at sort of Makozovsky, the obscure Marxist economist, and the question of conjuncture, which actually has a very current, but it's seen in a different way, is a kind of interesting set of ideas about how conjuncture operates. But anyway, that's my little deal on Wednesday, and that should do it. I mean, we're trying to do stuff on Thursday. And I think we're close to the end. Joe, is there
Yeah,
anything
and
you
I'm
wanna
gonna
close?
continue my quest to all of you. I swear to you that I'm gonna get you guys on Streamlabs so you can stream this to YouTube
Yeah.
because this is
Yes.
great. You guys all rock. You should have meet
We should have a
thousands more
technical
people
person
like
here.
yeah.
Oh,
Just
We
go
should have a
ahead.
excuse me,
producer.
sorry.
I'm the least technical person in the world. I'm an artist, all right? I
I'm talking to
read and I write and I
myself.
perform. That's all I do. I hate freaking computers. I hate it all. If I can do it, you certainly can.
I open up Ob's studio and I just sort of vomit in my mouth.
I'll do it for you then.
Oh, I can't do it. All right. Well, we'll get it sorted.
We'll sort
No,
this out.
I'm gonna get it sorted. We've been trying to get it sorted for 3 or 4 years now.
we need your help.
Sort of kicking the pants. So I've made a bowl of rice today, and made furikake, this rice or sesame condiment with a whole lot of goodies in it. We've got sesame. You can get black sesame if you like, to give a little variety. I just had yellow sesame, white sesame, what have you. I added some fermented cabbage and fermented daikon and some mushroom powder, and we shredded some nori seaweed, and a bit of salt. So it's I didn't have to put too much salt in because of the preserved vegetables. And we toast that all up in a pan so it gets nice and dry. Sprinkle it on your rice, and essentially that's all you need. If you don't want to go vegetarian, you could fry an egg, put an egg on it, and then put the furikake on top of that. Or we could go with our more zen condiment of gomasio, which is just toasted sesame and salt ground. That's also
Nice.
super tasty.
That's beautiful, Joe. It looks great.
I'm hungry again.
And like
Nice.
Anna, yeah, I'm calling Anna L out from the chat. It does look like a boob.
It does. Indeed, it does.
A
Well,
wonderful boob.
On
An
that
amazing
note,
boob.
thank you, Arjun. We'll
Yo,
try and do better next week.
Yo, always a pleasure. All like hanging with you guys. Love you guys. I will
Love you,
see you
dude.
soon.
Love you too.
There you go. Take care, all.